let's go on to the next thing, right? Which is you are a brand runner, right? You're a brand runner. You have a label. Shout out to Haven Court, doing great work. I love what you're doing over there. But when you talk about being a fashion YouTuber, ultimately you get to this idea of becoming a brand runner. A lot of them do. You know, a lot of people, they like, yo, I'm gonna start a label, right? And we've spoken about this at length a lot, right? Where, you know, how is it being a fashion YouTuber, content creator, ultimately starting a label, and why you did it this way. Just so people know, why did you start? I know we've talked about it before, but just Cliff Notes version, why did you start on YouTube, starting your label? Like, why did you decide to ultimately use YouTube as the way to springboard your label?
Yeah, again, we've gone over this so many times, but I'll just say it like in very short form. I had prior brands, and where the hell are those brands now? You know, I had no audience. It was just, I got ahead of myself like everyone else does. They're like, yo, I'm gonna print these tees. And some of them actually sold out in the beginning, but what happened was when I was selling them, I was like meeting up with people, which is like not the way to fucking do it. But then you know, I just did that, and to get off the product at that point. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna make another one. Then that second round, you know, I still got it somewhere back there. You know what I mean? I can't sell that shit. It's in a suitcase, rolling around in the back. I don't even know. And then I was like, man, I don't have no audience or nothing. So like, I was on Instagram. It was like 2018. And I deaded that brand, and I'm like, dude, I need to figure out a way to like, how are these other people doing this shit? Then I started watching YouTube. A friend of mine was like, yo, you should try this, because I know you do video stuff. And at that point I'm like, yeah, we might as well give that a shot. And, you know, at least I can say that if I tried it within a couple years, that I actually gave it a legitimate shot, and I'll try some other career if that doesn't work out, you know what I mean? So, but, you know, lucky enough it did, so.
And then it happened, right? So, because I recently did a live on Instagram. Shout out to Instagram Live. You know I'm on there. Reggie at Reggie Casual, if you don't know. So I recently did a live because I was complaining about somebody who was just like, yo, you don't have to be known before you start a brand. Just start the brand. And I'm like, all right, do that. Like, do it.
Well, okay, hold on.
Please do it. Please, no. I mean, I get it. I get it.
Right.
I get it. Just do it. Like, if you're gonna start your brand, just do it. You know, do it. Do it. But don't act like people not knowing you isn't the point. People gotta know about your brand to ultimately buy it, right? Like, they gotta know it exists. And if you living in this bubble of just like, yo, people are gonna love my work because my work is good. Like, everybody thinks their work is good. That's why they do it, right? Like, my work, you think you got something to offer. But if you have nobody watching you, nobody cares, right? Like, this is ultimately something that I try to tell you. It's like, yo, you give yourself a fighting chance if more people know you. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you shouldn't start.
There's cases where there's exceptions to the rule. I always got to say that in this conversation. There's exceptions to the rule. It's happened many times, but if you dig deep enough on some of the brands that didn't have an audience before, they ended up either having connections or they were just kind of well known in the community, and then which is kind of like an audience, but it's not really at the same time. But like, you know what I mean?
That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, when I speak, Keys, like it encompasses everything. Like when I say, hey, if nobody knows you, I'm not talking about if nobody knows you in fashion. I'm talking about, are you a part of a community? Are you ingrained in that? You got a mentor who puts you on? Like, there's a whole multitude of things. Like, there is exceptions to the rule, but I dare somebody to name me somebody that came just poof out of nowhere, had nothing, and then no connections, no nothing, and then automatically just made it because it was just them. Like, you have to start somewhere. Like, even Jacques Mus had to go out there and show his fashion to the world. He had to build a cachet. So all these, you know, if you're a design student, a lot of them who are successful end up doing like competitions and entering competition, they get noticed for that. Like, It's putting yourself on the line is what I'm saying. Like, you gotta be known to put yourself on the line and do whatever it takes to do that. But going back to this idea of being a YouTube brand, because this is exactly what this is all about. You put yourself out there as a YouTuber with intention. Like, you just knew, like, if I get this audience, it's game time, right? But what is the, we've spoken about this too. Do you think the idea of YouTube brand, that idea that they're not real brands, is finally waning? That idea, like, yo, you started a YouTuber started another brand, blah, blah, blah. I believe that kind of sentiment, that idea, that perception has become less and less relevant. Like, you can't say that anymore, because I think a lot more brands are putting out quality work. I think because
the YouTubers themselves felt that, and they felt like they needed to prove something, and therefore it were reflected in their work. I mean, you look at people like Senji, you look at people like Ray Mia, Ken, for an example, out in Japan. I mean, there's so many examples at this point, and even some of the newer brands that are coming up right now, some of the newer YouTubers, like they're doing a great job. Like the boots, I have them in another room from Ray. Like, bro, the quality of those are crazy. They're like they're as good as like Doc Martens, or like going to a Nordstrom's and just seeing shoes on the whatever, like, or going to Bloomingdale's. Mm-hmm. The quality is crazy. Like, when I held it in hand, I'm like, oh, this is the pinnacle right here. This is
shout out to Ray.
Ridiculous.
Shout out to Ray.
Yeah,
shout out to Ray. Shout out to Ray.
The little delayed effect.
But hey, I gotta get a button for that. Come on, guys. Shout out to Ray. All right. Keezy looking at it like, are you gonna do it?
Like, no, you better.
That's where you do it at, right? So we gotta definitely get Ray on the show, man. It'd be a fun time. You're doing good work out there. Good work out there.
He surpassed a lot of people, that's for sure.
Yeah, just blew by everybody and was just like, yeah, I'm gonna make these shoes real quick. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Got
Ray probably too good for me now.
A whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, like he's up there. All right, so the second part of like being a YouTube brand, we kind of skipped over this part, but dealing with the hate, man, because that's really what this
I'm
goes
so
into.
sorry. I need to say this before, so hold that thought.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
This. People don't understand how influential fashion YouTube is. Like, the trends that have happened since like let's see. Like, if you look at Jacob Keller's whole aesthetic has been the Japanese Americana or just like an Americana type brand. Mm-hmm. And look at the state of fashion right now. I'm like, dude, he was doing that years ago. Mm-hmm. And his brand was encompassed around that whole thing. And then look at how influential Ken is. And then there's so many people that don't even know that Ken is probably the owner of Vujade.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many examples I can just keep going with, but people don't know. Like, if you dig really like in YouTube fucking history, fashion history, people don't fucking know that shit came from fucking YouTube, and people don't say anything about it because
I keep telling people about like how crazy it is that Ken is where he's at right now. Like, you guys don't understand this dude.
Yeah.
I mean, those of you who follow Ken, because I know some people on here who are gonna be watching who follow Ken, they'll be like, oh, and they, and I'm gonna be real. Some of y'all are just like die hard, strong, just fans. like, I mean, y'all are straight up, like it. I'm not saying that but you love this dude. And I had to kind of unpack it. I was like, dog, because I met Ken before he even started YouTube. And he had asked me, we were on the street, and he was with Mario. And Mario's the black dude, the tall black dude that he used to always be with. He was with him, and Mario knew who I was. He was like, yo, Reggie? I was like, yeah, man. He's like, oh, I thought you was taller. I was like, no, right? So, I was like, nah, man, I'm average Japanese size, a little bit taller than that, right? But only in height, you know what I'm saying? So, and he was like, And he was like, yo, yeah, I'm just chilling with my homeboy right here. He's like, this is Ken right here. And I was like, oh, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. At first, Ken was real quiet. You don't understand, guys. Ken is real, like, straight up introvert, like, unless he knows you. Like, he has a lot to say, but he won't talk that much unless he knows you. And so once you get to know him, he's a really cool dude. And he was talking about, but he was asking me questions about how he should run his brand. Like, that's how crazy it was, because I was like, Ken, you're doing fine. Like, you don't really need my help. But he was like, yeah, but I don't know in this situation what I should do versus this, which means that even somebody as forward as Ken has questions, has issues. So,
of course,
you know, like, these are people who are working the game. But when we look at some of these, like, you're absolutely right, Keys, when you're talking about how influential YouTube, people are selling Issey Miyake pants saying that it's the one that Ken wore, right? These are the ones that Ken Ijima was wearing.
And if you look at, I don't know if you follow like Jacob Wallace, like the whole Gorpcore, I'm not saying he's the one that started Gorpcore, okay? But like his aesthetic, ironically, has been Gorpcore for years now. And I didn't hear nobody saying nothing about, I was like, dude, like if you just dig back in his old, bro, like that was him. I'm pretty sure that was him.
Yeah.
You know, like, bro, how come no one says anything about this? But then all you want to say is like, oh, you know, they're just YouTuber brands, and I'm alright, whatever, bro. Like, because this shit is crazy influence. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers.
The numbers speak for themselves, right? Like,
right, yeah. And I guess TikTok is next, right, for that. But who knows at this point, you know?
When we talk about these labels, we inevitably get to the idea of hate. Where do you believe that haterism comes from when we talking about YouTube brands, or just brands that didn't follow the traditional model? Where do you think that comes from, Keith?
I think actually a majority of those people that make those comments, they're just ignorant, you know. And it could be a bad way or a good way, I don't know. But like they don't know, they don't know. So and in comment sections, you get in your feelings, and you know you might post something or whatever. I gotta say this is years ago now. This has been when I first started my channel.
Right.
I went onto your channel, and I had a paragraph for you for sure, and I went back and deleted that shit. I'm just letting you know that right now. But I had to say it. Years later, I had to say it because, you know, just to be real about it, that's what happened. And I think it was a video about denim or something like that. And then you were talking about like the Osaka 5 in this, and then I forgot what it was, but like you never had no second for Ibisu. And you know me, I got really bad. I probably would have triggered that one. And I got my shit. I'm like, oh hell the fuck no. Like, you know,
shout out to Ibizu. So everybody knows.
Yeah, but I got my shit, and then like months later, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and delete that shit. I can't do this. Yeah.
Right. No. You know what? Okay, so I'm gonna be real with you. This is something that happened in the early days of the channel. We would often just be like, okay, let's make content that nobody else is gonna have, and we know not many people are gonna know about it until like there's just like one person that knows about a particular thing. Like, so when we talk about Japanese dinner, it's like, man, who knows the flathead? Only, you know, we know it. So we're not mentioning Ibizu. It wasn't like on purpose. It was just like, man, it's just not as relevant anymore. So
you said the name. This is how, see, now we're getting so specific now.
Right.
You said the name, but you didn't give its own explanation, and I got him.
This man was like, all right. This man talked about it. He said it, but he didn't say anything about it. How dare he?
My motherfucking fingers was going on. I was like, bro, I'm going here.
But you know what? You know what? In those kind of responses, like, because that's an informed response. Like, I probably would have been more like, yeah, we probably should have said something about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like in those situations, like, yeah, man. Because sometimes when somebody comes up with something good and they actually say something of merit, that's something that we missed, we'll actually respond. Like either me or my content manager will actually respond and be like, yo, our bad, we missed that one. That was a miss, you know? And you know what I'm saying? I'm allowed, you know, I'm allowed to miss something sometimes. But that's what we.
No, but I say all that too though because like just the way that I felt at that time. That's how other people feel because and they don't know you, right?
Right.
They just found your channel, right? So they get in there and they blah, 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 blah.
Like, yo, man, derogatory comment, F you, son. Like, I'm like, all right, cool. Like,
derogatory plus you can't dress plus this channel.
Right? Like, I've heard I can't dress so many times. It's like, dog, like, I'm not here to impress you. I'm a teacher,
you ever seen the shit I get? This motherfucker just wears black tees. Fuck this guy.
Dog, I want everybody to know, Keezy, because this is the funniest part. I do it on purpose. Like, I wear just plain black hoodies on purpose. Like, I do that. Yeah, like, I'm just like, Like, I actively think about it like, I'm just wait. Because it became such, it's so cliche at this point that you guys don't understand. Like, like, if you do understand, we sit in front of a camera and literally talk to ourselves.
No, I gotta tell you, this one time I wore this, well, I still wear it, but it was the Speed Hunters Balenciaga t-shirt I wore. Bro, I wore it only in like 3 videos, which is not a lot.
Not that many.
I didn't hear the end of it. Motherfuckers got in my comments talking about,
is that the only shirt you got?
In that t-shirt. I'm like, yo.
Like, did you skip over the 10 videos in between that? Like,
yeah, like come on, man.
Like, shout out to the 10 videos. Shout out to Balenciaga. Yo. All right, so yeah, I mean, but seriously, the hate has to stop. But as a brand runner, when you think about like the hate that you get have you ever gotten any hate when it came to like your brand? Oh, you started a YouTube brand, that's why, yada, 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 yada. Have you ever gotten that? Have you ever felt kind of like the wrath of people in that regard?
Me specifically, no. I don't. If
that's
off the top of my head, and if it has, it's probably, behind the scenes. I don't know these people. They're text messaging each other. I don't fucking know. But I have seen it. You know what I'm saying? But like, I have seen it like firsthand on like High Fashion Talk when people were talking about Sanjeev's brand. I think it was like his last collection or last collection. Like people were dogging that shit, and like, I felt some type of way about it for sure. I was like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. You just mad that you didn't do it.
A soft. I wish I could do a soft shout out to HFT. But I should have turned that down. No, seriously, HFT, like, I got a message for you guys. Like, seriously, like, for real. Like, I'm gonna just be real. I love the work that you do because you definitely know your stuff about fashion. But it does sometimes kind of, it turned people the wrong way a little bit. Like, some of the time, it's a little too much, right? It's a little too much, like, and this is something that I noticed. It's not just you. This happens a lot in High Fashion Talk circles, period, right? It's just this idea, it almost hinges on elitism in a way, and looking down on Sanjeev. Like, come on, man, this is a dude who's doing his thing.
It's the comment section, not the post.
That's true. I will.
Right.
That's why I'm saying a soft shout out to HFT, because you guys know your stuff, and I know some of you. Like, I've spoken to some of you. Like, Ayo, he's a part of that discussion. But the thing about it is that those guys, they know a lot. You know what I'm saying? Those not guys and gals. They know a lot about fashion. That doesn't mean that the community needs to be nasty about everything else that's not what they're talking about.
Yeah,
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
If I were to reflect too in that comment section, there were negative comments, but there were a lot of the people that were supportive. So it was like a back and forth, right? It was just like, bah, 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 bah. And of course it'll be like top comment dude was just like, oh, he just copied Undercover and fucking blah, 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 and then like someone else got in there and whatever. Like, I don't pay attention to it that much, but like sometimes when I see stuff like that, I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. It is what it is.
It's disheartening. It makes and then the reason why I'm saying this is because I know HFT as a community always is any high fashion community, right? Anyone. They're always talking about, we need to celebrate new designers. We need to put people, that we're not talking about. You need to make sure that you're looking at this person. But at the same time, when you have these people, you're quick to dismiss them. Like, you're quick to dismiss all the new people if they're not like in vogue, right? Like, let's stop this. Like, you have independent people. It's like, for instance, how would Matthew M. Williams really been treated? Because Matthew M. Williams didn't go to a prestigious school to learn what he had to learn.
No, he started Ben Trill.
Right?
He was making the drippy drip.
Right? He was making drippity drip drip. Right? So shout out to Matthew M. Williams. I'm not gonna even horn him right there. Like, he's gonna be predictable. Right? But that's what I'm saying. It's like, we have to start celebrating these because you don't know where somebody start. Like, this dude, he could be where he is right now, but years from now, he might be doing something incredible. And I think we should learn to celebrate people in their, if we look at Sanjeev, like, he's at beginning, this is the infancy of his career. He's not even at the beginning.
One of the, again, shout out to High Fashion Talk, because I know the owner, he's a really nice guy. But one of the top comments on that post said, and it was like, people really liked it for some reason. The top comment was, YouTuber brands only make their grails, or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they'll remake the grail that they've always wanted. And I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, don't designers do that too? So you mean to tell me the designers, they don't make the shit they want? Okay, yeah, bet. So
listen, I'm gonna give you guys a little story. Chitose Abe, she's known for doing that. Of Sacai, the high fashion, she said she makes clothes that she would wear. So let's stop this nonsense. There's a lot of designers out there. Jerry Lorenzo, when he looked at that Rick Owens tee, and he said, no, this is a little too this is a little too that. I need to change it up a little bit. That's what he did. He took it reference, like, and Chitose Abe is really just the best example. She literally said, I make clothes that I would wear. That I would want to wear.
There you go. I think
and she's like one of the most celebrated designers today.
Yeah, that's like one of the best like niches or niche or however it's pronounced for like clothing. Because if that's your issue, then that's also a lot of other people's issues too.
Yeah, you're making something that is not available, and it should be available, right? Like, I don't believe there's anything wrong with that, and it's not just YouTube brands. Like I just said, a big designer did that. Like, few have done that. And I think that it's unfortunate that we have this dichotomy where it's like only official designers make real designs. And I think I'm glad we kind of hit on that, because I think that's where the hate conversation really needs to be talked about.
The real designer, like, if we, is this real designer that we're making up is someone that probably went to fashion school. But I have noticed there is a mentality switch for that too. Because a lot of people don't even want to go to college no more, because they're finding so many ways to make money. We're not even talking about fashion. There's so many ways to make money out there, legal or illegal. There's a bunch of stuff out there. I'm just saying. So like, people looking at fashion school like, oh, I gotta pay $90,000 tuition. Oh, I gotta buy all my tools. They don't pay for none of the samples. Oh, you mean I gotta pay for all that? No, like, come on, dude. Like, there's so many ways to do it, and this is not just the only way.
Give people a chance. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.